When I was about 6 or 7 years old, I was a little girl in Michigan playing on a playground, and a friend of mine asked me a very serious question that little kids often get asked. And the question was, do you believe in God? Now, at the time, I believed that a God, if there was God, God was kind of like the man in the clouds. And my perception of what God is has changed since then. But at the time, that's kind of how I thought of God. And I wanted to know the answer to that question. I wasn't sure how to answer it. And I really did think about it. And I realized at that age that, well, there has to be an explanation for why everything is here. And so maybe it's God that created it. But as you may have asked yourself before, what created God then? Okay, so something must have created this. Well, then what created God? And so that was a question that really perplexed me. And as a young child, I didn't really come up with the answers to that question, but it was a question that I mulled over for a very long period of time. And over the years, I've gotten some interesting thoughts about this question that have made sense of that paradox of what created what to me. And I just feel like passing them on to you. Again, this is just the information that's come to me, so take it however you see fit or discard it. That's up to you. But here's what I think today. The way that I look at it, what created this was that it has to be. In other words, you can't have nothing without having something. Like if you even try to conceive of that in your mind, of there being utter nothingness, what does that even mean? There has to be something to quantify the nothingness. So in other words, in order for there to be such a thing as a hand, there has to be an absence of a hand. In order for there to be an absence of the hand, there has to be a hand. And so the way that I've kind of come to look at this is that we exist because we have to exist. In order for there to be nothing, there has to be something. And if there can be something, there can be anything. All right, so the way that I see it today is that we live in this kind of framework of an intermingling between somethingness and nothingness, where in any moment of time, we are surrounded in a reality that is filled with somethings, but then there's an absence of some of those things as well. And so any possible variation of something and nothing could yield a different framework of reality. So I know that's kind of a big idea. Another way that I like to look at it is in terms of math. So in like a binary way, whereas nothing would be represented by 0 and something would be represented by 1. And that you and I and everything around us are part of the 1. We're part of the something. But a 1 is mathematical. You can divide it down into infinitesimal parts. So everything that could possibly exist is the 1. And what we are like these little divisible parts of 1. And that's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. But the way that I see it is that the reason why that we exist is because it has to be. You have to have 2 parts. You couldn't have nothing if there wasn't something. If there's something, there has to be everything. If there's everything, then you must exist because you're a possible thing that could exist in the possible isness of everything, of the entirety of existence. So anyway, those are my deep thoughts for today. I hope that you like them, and I'll try to get another video up for you tomorrow. Bye-bye.